Released on the final day of 1996, Diablo quickly became a universally loved game for its gritty dark world, interesting and grotesque monsters, and engaging gameplay. Or so I'm told because I've never played it. I have, however, played a lot of D3 and always wondered what the original was like. Why do people love it so much, and does it still hold up today? So join me, my friends, as I try to find out, is Diablo still good? And yes, for anyone wondering, I also haven't played Diablo 2, another video for another day. After launch, the game plays a crispy 320 by 154p video that is meant to set the stage for what's to come. We're shown a world devoid of life as a lone, nameless hero battles against the forces of darkness. While cool, all it told me is that there is a magical sword and some monsters to fight. Then again, that's kinda all I really needed to know, I suppose. When I start a new game, I'm given a choice between 3 classes: Warrior, Rogue, and Sorcerer. I'm not sure why, but I didn't really expect this. I had no reason not to, but I guess I kinda assumed there wouldn't be much in the way of different playstyles. Looking at the stats, there's only Strength, Magic, Dexterity, and Vitality, each one corresponding to a different class, with Vitality being Health. However, I noticed Vitality really isn't that different, making me think that all of the classes would have an easy time surviving. It just comes down to how you want to fight the minions of hell. Normally I play as a mage because, let's be real, if I could hurl lightning in real life, I'd be an Olympic gold medalist at that. But for some reason, I was just kinda pulled to sword and board for this playthrough. Something about just a brave knight battling his way through the darkness sounded metal, so I picked Warrior and named him Level 0. Then the game starts, and I mean like, immediately, you're just blipped into existence in the world. Honestly, it kinda made me think of those early 2010s Unity engine horror games where they didn't exactly know how to start the game, so you just popped into existence. But I digress. The opening scene puts us in front of a house, maybe ours, I don't know, and that's it. There is no sign, no NPC, no direction. There is a path to the southwest, but I almost didn't notice it at first. To be honest, I was kind of put off by this. I don't need or want my hand held through everything, but the combination of the suddenly spawning in plus no real indication of where to go in what appears to be a large zone worried me. But I don't really know why. This is just part of the experience. Maybe I was worried I would wander into the wrong cathedral and see some level 99 enemies. Welcome to Diablo, I guess. Since I assumed this area was safe, I took some time to check out my HUD, and oh baby, yep, that is a character sheet. Yeah, let's see, damage, armor class, chance to hit. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I have a spells tab, and no spells. In my inventory, I have a club. I don't know why I have 2 weapons, but that's okay, and with that, I have familiarized myself with the heads-up display. Time to get walking. I notice that path and follow it, where I encounter a drunk man. Farnham the Drunk. When I gossip with him, he tells me how he thinks Ogden is the best man in town because he keeps giving him alcohol, but he thinks that his wife doesn't like him that much. You know, probably on account of the smell, and the vomit. Wandering a bit further into town is Cain the Elder. Is this Deckard Cain or a different Cain? Anyway, he can identify items for me, though I don't have any right now. Talking to him, he tells me the story of Rit and that he and many other children were dragged into the labyrinth by demons with wicked spears. The son of King Leoric was also taken. Many knights went to retrieve the missing children, but never returned. Apparently, the blacksmith was able to find Rit, but the monstrosities below had already tortured him. I don't mean to sound insensitive, but who is Rit? I also find the blacksmith and tavern owner. The latter clues me in a bit on what I should be doing, saying that dark riders came and destroyed the village. He tells me to follow the path between his tavern and the blacksmith and I will find the church. There, I should save everyone that I can. Outside said church is a wounded townsman who tells me that the Archbishop Lazarus led people into the darkness below to find the lost prince, but it was a trap. Everyone was slaughtered by a demon called the Butcher. In his dying breath, he requested that I slay the demon and avenge the townfolk. That sounds familiar, but either way I have my first quest, to dive into the dungeon and slay the Butcher. First impressions? Yeah, it's dark and spooky down here. I really do like this art style though, and I don't mean the dark gritty aesthetic, though yes, that too. I mean the 3D models that have been zapped with a digital ray gun to turn them into sprites. At least, I think that's what it is. I'm not an artist, so I might be using the wrong terminology, but I think they made real 3D models out of something, then Magic scanned them into the computer to turn them into sprites, kinda like how Donkey Kong Country did it. It gives a much realer look than solid pixels could have, especially in the 90s. Gameplay though, well, that's where it shows its true age. You walk around and you click on things. That's it. Click on chest, open chest. Click on enemy, enemy die. Don't click on health potion, you die. Now, that's not like an actual nitpick or bad thing. I mean, it's not like I expected the game to read my thoughts and act, obviously, but it quickly becomes apparent just how primitive the melee combat is. Specifically in the lack of auto attack or ability to hold the attack button to continue the assault. If you want to hit something multiple times, you have to click on it multiple times. This is not inherently bad, but I can't believe there was a time when holding left mouse didn't cause you to attack multiple times in a row. When it's just one enemy, that's fine, but when there's a horde on top of you, it can quickly become disastrous. You might be clicking on one enemy, but then another passes in front of your cursor, so you click on it. Best case scenario is it's close enough for you to swing at it, but it might be further away, making your character start to move around. And even then, the goal is to clear enemies as fast as possible to minimize damage, so switching targets, even if in range, isn't great. What I'm trying to say is that the combat is really rudimentary, but it's fine for what it is, I suppose. Click on thing gets jibbed. Speaking of the enemies though, this level of the dungeon features some classic RPG ones. Skeletons, both normal and captains, zombies, something called a scavenger, which looks like a classic flying imp to me. On death, they have a chance to drop loot or gold, but I quickly noticed that there was no highlight around the items, meaning if I missed the sound cue of something small like a ring dropping, I would never find it. Though, I suppose to the game's credit, that is realistic. Finding something as small as a ring in a dark dungeon while fighting off monsters would be difficult. Quickly, I found my way to the second level of the dungeon, which features a couple of new enemies. Devilkin, which are just little club-wielding goblin things, and rotting carcasses, which are just stronger zombies. A skeleton with a bow, specifically called Corpse Bow, and some fiend, which are stronger imps, I think. I also got my first level up, and here is one of my real problems with this game. It doesn't explain anything to you. Some of them are self-explanatory, like having played plenty of games, I know strength is how big my damage is, and vitality is how much health I have. However, does leveling magic increase the resistances? Because that would help any class's survivability. Does leveling dexterity increase chance to hit, or is it gear-based? Or perhaps each class's specialized skill is tied to it, like a warrior gains nothing from dex, but as he becomes stronger, he is more accurate with his swings? Similarly, on the right side of my screen is what appears to be a chest plate. I can infer this is probably telling me something is wrong with my armor, but it never says that. Now listen, I don't need a marker that says, click here to level up, your armor is almost broken, adventurer, make sure to repair it. I don't need that. But if you hover over a weapon or armor, it shows a little pop-out with information. That means the game has code to do that. So why couldn't it have one when you hover over the hit chance to say like, your chance to land a blow, associated skill, dexterity, or something? That would have gone a long way because as it is, I have no idea if leveling dex would help or if it would be a waste. The final nail in that coffin is that there isn't a confirmation screen. The moment you hit the plus button, the point is spent, so you can't, for example, dump everything into magic and see if it increases your resistance. You're committed the moment you do it. There might have been a programming limitation tied to this. I know a lot of older games had to do some black magic coding to make it work, but that would have been a phenomenal quality of life thing to add. A little while later, the armor symbol turns red, which does make me think that it's associated with durability, then disappears. I want to believe that means the problem went away, but my guess is the armor broke. Then I died. I did not expect to die so early in this game. There are no autosaves, a pretty normal thing for older games, so saving frequently is important. Oh, I do have a skill. I can repair things? Doing so decreases the maximum durability of the item though, but I suppose is better than the item being broken. This time when I got another level up, I cautiously spread my points. Unfortunately, leveling dex didn't seem to increase the hit chance, so it must be gear-based. At least I don't have to waste more points. This game is kinda difficult. There are only 2 enemies in front of me, but they rapidly drained my health. I even took a healing potion and didn't kill either one of them. I know I only just started my adventure, but I feel really weak. Those enemies actually took all of my healing potions, and I don't really know what to do about that. I'm only on the second floor of the dungeon, and I haven't found any new weapons to deal extra damage. I did find the entrance to the 3rd floor, but if things are already this hard, going down isn't the right call. But I guess I don't really have any other options until I kill the butcher. Hopefully that'll give good XP and maybe a weapon. Oh, that's the 4th level. These aren't randomized, that's weird. Burning Dead Captain. Okay, just stronger skeletons, I can handle that. I could not handle that. I ended up going back to level 1 to fight a few more things, hopefully to level up because dying repeatedly did not sound fun to me. I found a book that I can't read. Though it makes me wonder how the sorcerer class works. Do you need to find every spell as a random drop? Because that sounds, at best, tedious. Level 3, and to fix my OCD, I'm going to make everything a multiple of 5. Magic is not always what it seems to be. What does that mean? I found a scroll of Identify, which is nice. Now I can identify the staff I have, even though if I had to guess, it would be something that benefits the sorcerer more than the warrior. I feel like the inventory is actually really small, or at least the items are really big. You only get 40 slots, and most things take up 4 or 6 by themselves, so item management is super important. That, or probably frequent trips back to town. I didn't check, but I could guess the reason the blacksmith exists is to sell items. Luckily, I found a new sword. It has a lower low roll than my short blade, but the potential to roll higher, so I took it. With inventory full, I decided to return to town where I spoke with more people about my quest. Gillian says she didn't believe the town drunk when he said the butcher was killing people. Why though? Did you not see the whole Archbishop leading people into the dungeon and then hear their screams, or what? I don't think talking to people will actually do anything like quest progression wise, instead it's just extra flavor text, which is fine, it makes the world feel more alive. Ah, I was right, you can sell things to the blacksmith, but he also sells basic and premium items. Oh, a claymore, 12 damage, that is insane. I want that, but I don't have enough strength for it. So instead, I buy a falchion. 48 damage is pretty good too. Now I feel much more powerful. Look at this, I'm just cleaving through enemies left and right. That butcher won't know what hit him. Just like I have no idea what knowledge and wisdom at the cost of self means. Oh, leveling dex does increase chance to hit. Oh no, that's actually really bad because it means I need to divvy up my levels between 3 different stats. 4 if magic actually does increase your resistances too. Well, wait, if that's the case, what's the point of the different classes? If you need to level everything, then they're all the same. Is it just a role-playing thing? Or, on the other hand, if rogue's damage comes from dexterity, does that mean it's the optimal class, only needing to level it and vitality? At any rate, the enemies here on level 2 aren't all that bad now thanks to my new weapon, so you know what, let's push level 3. The stronger enemies will provide better experience, and as far as I can tell, things don't respawn, so I can't just grind on skeletons to 99 anyway. He says as he kills a skeleton and gets to level 4, more bicep curls. I'm just glad enemies can't open doors. It makes it pretty easy to just shut one, then heal or repair my armor, which doesn't cost mana by the way, so I guess I really only need healing potions. Blade of Light plus 20 light radius. Does that do anything, or just make it to where I can see the game around me? Knowing that this is an old game, I wouldn't be surprised if it also affects my chance to hit something. While the spirit is vigilant, the body thrives. Disco ball? Can't wait until I finish the game so I can look up what these shrines do. Before heading down, I used a town portal scroll to go back to the blacksmith and sell my items, but I also found the town healer. I somehow missed him before, but he can straight up just restore my health, but he also sells potions. Perfect, I have a feeling I'll need a lot of them. Being slightly better prepared, the Burning Dead captains still do a number on me, but not enough to bring me down, so as long as I'm careful, I can make it. Blinks are, stronger imps? Due to size limitations, a lot of games used to have a base set of enemies, then make palette swaps of them and just increase health and defense. That's fine, I really don't mind that, but why call them blinks? Are there gonna be winks later too? With this level, I decided to get more dexterity, not only for the chance to hit that I absolutely wanted, but the Blade of Light has a 30 dex minimum requirement that I now satisfy. Carvers? Oh, they have wicked looking spears, just like Kane mentioned. That should mean I'm getting close to the butcher. To King Leoric's tomb? Okay. Before checking that out, I want to say something that's kind of been gnawing at the back of my head while playing. The first quest is to kill the butcher, and now I found King Leoric's tomb. It's been a minute, but aren't those the same first 2 things you do in Diablo 3? And I'm making an educated guess here, but the final boss of this game is probably Diablo, which is also the final boss of base D3. Why is it the same? Obviously, this isn't Diablo 1's fault, it came first, and I'm only like an hour and a half into this game, maybe it drastically changes later, but if it doesn't, is the world of Diablo stuck in a cycle of rebirth like every 1,000 years a great terror fills the land, or were the story writers really not able to come up with something else? Well, like I said, this isn't Diablo 1's fault, and this isn't a video over Diablo 3, so I'll just end it there, but feel free to comment down below why it's like that, I would love to learn. At any rate, I felt as prepared as I could be to raid Leoric's tomb, so in I go. I was immediately assaulted by the Burning Dead. The stench of rotten flesh filled the air, but they were no match for my Sword of Light. This will be easy. There are some archers sniping me through the bars because that's fair, but in some adjacent rooms I find the lever to open the way. A jagged axe, 2 to 10 damage and plus 31% damage? Okay, that's awesome. Maybe I was wrong. I just needed the right loot and the game is too easy. Oh, but it's a two-handed weapon. I lose my shield, which I assume is doing something helpful? Well, I might as well try it. Alright, now I'm one-shotting things. This was the right choice. And there he is, the big boss man himself. Oh, he kinda hurts. Thankfully, I have learned a trick. The enemies can't pass through each other, so as long as I stand one tile off of a door, they will basically have to funnel in, letting me kill them one at a time. Ah, he can raise the dead. That could be a problem. For now, a tactical retreat. Well, I was wrong about enemies not being able to open doors, I guess. Thankfully, I made a save just before finding the axe, so it's not like I lost too much time. Sure it would be a shame to forget to save. I returned to town to repair some gear and think about my next plan. I didn't really feel ready to take on Leoric, but I also didn't know if I'd be ready to go down another floor either. For the time being, I just cleared out some more enemies, hoping to level in the process. I found the library that had a bunch of scrolls of Town Portal. Would be nice if I could get either an infinite one or just the ability to cast it, but as long as I have at least one of these, I guess it's fine. I found a short sword that had quick attack, whatever that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know how helpful it is. But either way, I didn't have a shield, so it would probably just be a downgrade from my axe in every way. But with that, I dive into depth 4. Yeah, it was a mistake. The Flesh Clan are basically Minotaurs, but as long as I can fight them one at a time, they go down pretty easy, but surprise, I ended up going back to level 3 hoping to find easier enemies. There were another couple of rooms off to the side, but then something occurred to me. The blacksmith sold a premium shield last time I checked, so I went back and it's there. minus 2 damage from enemies, plus more armor as it's a shield. Yeah, maybe going full barbarian unga bunga isn't the answer. I also bought some new armor just for a little extra protection and of course free healing and a lot of potions. I could tell I was doing considerably less damage, but also taking far less as well. In fact, I noticed a couple of times what sounded like metal hitting metal, and I think my shield is deflecting attacks? I might be wrong, but I would go long periods of time without taking damage, so I think that's what's happening. I still had to be careful though, because if I got surrounded, I would just be overwhelmed. Ah, my first special enemy, Broken Head Bang Shield, who has some magic resistances and some magic immunities. Well, good thing the only magic I have is Stab with Sword. He didn't drop any loot though, just gold. Why do I have so many piles of gold? What happened? Well, whatever, I'll take the money. At this point I had cleared out all of level 3, but I thought Leoric, being a boss style enemy, would be harder than just the regular enemies on 4, so I decided to go back down. It still wasn't easy, but with my new door trick I could handle everything. I quickly found the stairs down to depth 5, but I knew at this point I needed to clear out the whole floor if I wanted to stand a chance. I ran into some bone gnashers, which are like little skeletal monkey facehuggers with legs things. Not hard to kill, neither are the dark ones. More importantly, I found a book that gave me some backstory. It tells me that there was a revolution within hell known as the Dark Exile, and the lesser evils overthrew the prime evils and banished their spirit forms to the mortal realm. Belial and Asmodan fought to claim rulership, but the absence of the prime evils polarized hell between the factions, all while heaven was trying to get in, presumably to slaughter all of the demons. Ah, another elite enemy, one of the flesh clans, Garbad the Weak. That sounds like bait. Oh, I can talk to him. He asked me not to kill him, and if I keep him alive, he'll bring me something. Unfortunately, I had to stop the dialogue and fight some enemies, which made me worried if I clicked on him again, it would attack. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and this time he says he will make me something else and gave me a rare cap. Minus 3 damage from enemies? Yep, that's going on immediately. It very quickly came in handy as I found an elite bone gnasher named Spine Eater. Once I cleared out his group though, he was pretty easy. With my next level, I got more dexterity to raise my hit chance. From here on out, I probably won't mention all of my levels because there really isn't much build variety. Although I can tell you one other problem I have with this game. Escape will always open the menu, not close the character or inventory sheet. This is another one of those light nitpicks that I have come to expect from modern games. I'm surprised there was a time that Escape didn't always close whatever menu was open, then if no menu was open, finally open the pause menu. Back in town, I had Kane identify a few things for me, most notably a Saber of Power which gives a whopping plus 14 to Strength. I still don't really know how much a single digit change matters, but 14 sounds like a lot. Stocked up on potions and new gear, I decided to re-enter Leoric's tomb. Even though he can raise the dead, I figured thinning the herd was still my best bet. Then I got to pummeling, and it went on, and on, and on. Okay, new complaint. I have no way of knowing if my attacks are actually doing damage. There are no hit points or health bar to see go down. Yes, the enemies make a noise, but I'm not so naive to think that that means they're actually taking damage. It could just be a programming oversight. Enemies can be immune to different magical types, so it's not unrealistic that they could also be immune to normal weapons. But I keep at it, and eventually the Skeleton King falls. He dropped his crown, which I honestly expected because of the D3 similarities, and then I clear out the rest of the room. I did learn something at this point though, and it's that the player character learns more about the enemy as more are defeated. I'm not sure of the exact number, but when you first encounter an enemy, it just says their name and how many are defeated. Then, one tier up, it's their resistances and immunities, then after that it shows you how many hit points they have total. Honestly, really neat, and I love that more information is revealed the more you fight. At first I thought the crown was trash because it just says armor and unique item, but when I actually looked at them, it also has lifestealing, so I'll take it. I then spent some time clearing out level 4, which was much easier now, and figured it was time to go down to depth 5 and finally find the Butcher. Ah, this is different. The first couple of enemies I ran into were more Flesh Clan and a couple Stone Clan, which I guess are slightly stronger versions, but honestly they still felt really easy to handle. But I don't want to be lulled into a false sense of security. The game has destroyed me like 6 or 7 times already because of that. Ah, a new enemy, the Stalker. They like to run away. I mean, I guess if I got a sword to the neck, I too would bounce, so it's understandable. They don't really seem like a huge threat unless they swarm me, but to be fair, that's true of like every enemy in the game. Up to town? Where does this... I'm just in the town now? Was this always here? No wonder you guys had a problem with demons. Shadow beasts, more like Stronk bone gnashers, nothing to fear for a warrior like myself. Horned demons looked terrifying, but honestly, they're kind of pushovers. Not that I'm complaining. I found another book. This one talks about a gateway of blood and a hall of fire. Valor awaits for the hero of light. Okay, I should be looking for fire and blood then. I'm assuming I'm the hero of light. Maybe I'm not. In the next room is a bloodstone and a pedestal of blood, but activating it didn't seem to do anything. I found another bloodstone, so I guess if I find another pedestal somewhere, it'll probably open a passage. I'll have to be on the lookout for it. Another elite enemy, Bloodskin Darkbow, which I assume is a Flesh or Stone Clan archer. He dropped a large axe, but I don't have a scroll of Identify, so I'll have to wait. I also realized at this point that gold only stacks to 5,000 for some reason. Regardless, I head back to town, see the axe is worthless, buy some potions, and see that the blacksmith has a soldier's flail of the leech. Plus 18% hit, plus 74 damage, and hits steal 3% life. I need it, but it's 20,000 gold. Well, time to save. Speaking of needing things, can I get a little bit faster, please? My character shuffles so slowly through the dungeon. It's fine for when you're exploring because, keep your guard up and stuff, be vigilant or whatever, but it's super noticeable and kind of annoying when I'm just trying to navigate the area. Well, whatever, with everything cleared out, I make my way down a floor. Another book. Beyond the Hall of Heroes lies the Chamber of Bone. Eternal death awaits any who would seek to steal the treasure secured within this room. So speaks the Lord of Terror, and so it is written. Well, I would love to say I'm coming for that treasure, but the game has told me many times I'm not ready for whatever it is. This is like the third time the next floor entrance is one room away from the current entrance. Why are they so close together? It's just tempting to go down there and die. Gloom, bigger, badder imps can't wait for the Vioplume. Also Fire Clan, which I can't see it yet, but I would take a wild guess, are immune to fire. I did get my first amulet here though. I have nothing on, so even if it sucks, a 1% increase is still good. Yes, the door strats, I'm figuring out how to play. I joke, but honestly, there doesn't seem to be a lot of strategy involved. It's just a purely numbers thing. Can I hit this enemy and it dies before it hits me or not? Now, I guess there is a little bit of strategy with repositioning to make sure you don't get cornered, but even then, you can just kite things in circles. Okay, well the game heard me and did not like that. I did manage to get the amulet drop again though, so I'm not sure if the loot is completely random or decided at some point. I also picked up a scroll of lightning at some point which I could use. I thought it would be like a big AoE blast or a single powerful thunderbolt, but nothing happened. I don't know why nothing happened, but that's a waste. Thankfully, I did manage to kill the elite without the help of that thunderbolt who dropped some rare studded armor. I quickly went and checked and it gives a crazy plus 56% armor boost and 14 vitality points. You better believe I put that on immediately. The amulet gives plus 6% hit chance and 40% light, which isn't great, but I'll take it. Also, I finally decided I had no need for the scrolls that I was holding onto or the mana potions, so I just dropped them in front of the healer's house. I'm sure he doesn't mind. There's another elite enemy among the Fire Clan who I learned only resist fire. They aren't immune to it, not that it matters for my sword and board playstyle. The big enemy's name is Deathshade Fleshmaul. That's metal. Energy comes at the cost of wisdom. But my magic stat is the same as it was before activating that shrine. Are you saying I have no wisdom? I was a bit nervous, but I decided to enter the Chamber of Bone, where I found horrors. No, really, the enemy is just named Horror. Well, Horror Captain, but still. Also, there are Unseen, which are just stronger stalkers. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot with Y is just stronger X, but honestly, that's kinda how it feels playing. Going after the same enemies with a slightly different color palette and more health, but my weapons get stronger, so I didn't even notice the more health part. Oh, okay, I absolutely do not want to move away from this door as that room is just filled to the brim with enemies, literally packed shoulder to shoulder. What's that symbol? Do I have holy protection for killing all the undead or something? Arcane knowledge gained? Okay. And a Hell Hydra who disappeared as fast as he showed up? Alrighty then. There are several rare items down here, which means I need to take a quick trip to Kane, then to the blacksmith. After selling all my stuff, I decided to purchase the Ring of the Eagle, which gives me plus 22 hit points. It's not great, but with nothing on, it's infinitely better, you know? But with that, I had cleared the Chamber of Bone. I am surprised. I kinda thought there would be a boss in here. You know, like, the butcher I've been looking for, but I guess he's further down. I didn't expect him to be this far away from town, but I guess this is an older game, so it kinda makes sense. Clutch level up for that full heal. I appreciate that. Totally calculated, of course. And with that, floor 6 is clear, so it's time to descend once more into the darkness. One of the first enemies I ran into here was a Night Clan, which is just a bow-wielding Fleshstone Fire Clan, but I hate these guys. They run away all the time, and they just keep running until they're up against a wall. It makes trying to take them down damn near impossible if they're in a group, because if you chase one, the rest of them turn into a firing squad. These are hands down the worst enemy I have encountered. Not being able to move quicker than the enemies or have ranged options really sucks. It takes me forever to clear out this floor because of how far and wide these guys run, usually into other groups of enemies. I found the way out, but also a book that speaks in riddles. If my Super Mario RPG playthrough is anything to go off of, I don't have a very high intelligence stat, so this book might be doing nothing. I don't remember there being a door here, and I should know, I circled this area like 8 times because of those Night Clan enemies. Illusion Weavers, just stronger unseen. Oh no, this is bad, I'm surrounded because I couldn't see them. These things have a lot of health, way more than anything I have fought up to this point save for bosses. If I didn't have the door strats, I might be in a bind, but it's okay. Though, admittedly, my fear, of course, is that there are more of them inside. Okay, so you can hit them once and they run away and heal, maybe? Actually, maybe the only way to deal with them is to constantly chase them down so they can't phase shift out of this mortal realm. Honestly, I'm not sure, but slow and steady allows me to win and I get the optic amulet, though I have no idea what it does. Oh, that's just a room full of Night Clan. That sucks. Time to find me a door. Which, to be fair, is slightly less effective because they don't want to walk into my sword. Oh, please be a healing shrine. Nope, it was a worthless shrine. I still don't know what it does. Oh joy, an elite Night Clan, just what I always wanted. He actually wasn't that hard, and he dropped a great axe, so I decided to use an identify scroll on the amulet instead, just to see. Get it? Optic amulet? See? Plus 20% light radius, resist lightning 20%, minus 1 damage from enemies, and plus 5 to magic. That's honestly kinda bad. The minus 1 damage is fine, but I don't think I've seen anything do lightning damage yet, and I don't care about magic or being able to see in the dark. After chasing a few more Night Clan around, it was time to descend once more. Depth 8, and the first thing to show up was an Illusion Weaver. It's gonna be rough. Not having a door made this a pain, but I realized if I hit them once, they just run away, so as long as I had good rolls, I could basically just cycle the enemies until they were all dead. In a nearby room was Czar the Mad. He, at least at first, was pretty chill, but then I tried to read his books and he got mad saying my curiosity will be the death of me, then attacked. You know how I complained about the Night Clan running away? Well, this guy takes it up a notch. He constantly teleports around the room and launches fireballs at me. This took a good number of my healing potions, but as they say, paper beats rock beats sword beats mage. Unfortunately, when he died, he got the last laugh because he only dropped books that I can't even read. Speaking of, I found another book with some backstory about demons traveling to the mortal realm looking for 3 brothers, but more importantly than that was the voice acting here. Listen, despite making YouTube videos, I'm not the best voice actor, but at least I cut out my breathing. Come on, Diablo team, none of the other voice lines were like that. You know, having said that, I really hope it was just the team being lazy and not like an actual, medical issue. Anyway, the lore is just that the angels allied themselves with a secret order called the Tristram, which I shouldn't know about, but having the arcane power of IRL time travel, I do. Honestly though, nothing else really happened on this floor, no bosses or quests or even new enemies, so I just cleared it out and went down to level 9. Oh, a new change in scenery. My warrior said, "It's hot down here," and you know, I'm no geometrist, I don't study the ground, but the further down you go, it gets hotter. Oh god, what are those demonic monsters? Red Storm? Well, there's the lightning I was worried about, and magma demons? Oh, this is a jump in difficulty again, isn't it? Yep, saw that coming. The most annoying thing about this is while door strats still work to hit enemies one at a time, the Red Storm lightning attack actually goes through walls, at least through the wooden beam ones, so I'm not safe from it. Individually, neither they nor the magma demons are hard to take down, but they are fast and hyper aggressive, meaning I need to run in circles way more often. Oh awesome, a way back to town. You know, I think I'm understanding that every time the tile set changes that there's a staircase back to the city, which is great for me to easily dump my gear and heal up, but imagine just sitting in the tavern, seeing the hero casually stroll out of a cave and then looking inside and seeing the face of death staring back at you. Anyway, one of the items I identified was the Mace of the Moon, which gives +6 to all stats and has a decent damage spread. Also, considering the Red Storms shoot lightning, I decided to actually use the Optic Amulet for its resistance. I don't know how much 20% will help. Well, actually, I know exactly how much it will help. 1/5 less damage. I also bought the Valiant Shield of the Moon, plus 67% armor and +4 to all stats. As expected, I now make quick work of the enemies on this floor. Honestly, it's amazing how useful the blacksmith is. In pretty much every game I've played, the dropped loot from enemies outpaces the blacksmith weapons in like 4 levels, though to be fair, I recall D3's blacksmith being extremely helpful, so maybe it's just a Diablo thing. Okay, I'm very glad I put on that lightning resist amulet now. I don't know for certain, but it feels like if there are a lot of enemies hitting you, the chance to hit anything in return plummets. I mean, if I'm actively taking time to deflect attacks, then I guess that makes sense, but it means being surrounded is even worse than I thought. Anyway, there's also an elite Red Storm enemy, Broken Storm, which is a lie. He's thrown more lightning than Zeus ever did. He drops a broadaxe, which does a huge chunk of damage, plus lifesteal, but it's a two-handed weapon. I'm not sure if I'll use it, but I might as well carry it around for now. Wait, when did I get a spell? What? I have no idea where this came from, but honestly, it's probably not useful. I haven't spec'd into magic at all, but hey, I guess I can. Level 10, what do you have for me? Storm Riders, just stronger red storms and probably immune to lightning because they are blue. There are also pit beasts down here. I'm not sure if they're new completely, but I hate them either way. They spit acid that stays on the ground for a while, so stepping in it causes pain, and when there's a large group of them, it basically turns the level into a poison swamp. Oh, this is where Michael Zaki got the idea. Ah, an elite storm rider already. Wow, this game really wants to kill me. Too bad. Door. He dropped leather armor that turned out to be useless. I also got an axe that did additional lightning damage, which is cool, but I'm pretty sure storm riders are either going to be immune or resistant to it, so it's probably just not worth it. Plus, it's two-handed. Over at the blacksmith, I noticed he had a ring of plus 46 lightning resistance. Yep, that's mine now. Aha, another new enemy, a flayed one. These are just hulking brutes that only do strong melee attacks. Honestly preferred to anything that has range. Hey, I was right. Storm riders are immune to lightning. I must be learning about the game. The rest of the floor is pretty uneventful. I get some armor and a level, but that's it, so it's down to level 11. That thing does not look friendly. Before pressing on, I went back to town. The ring I found gave 45% lightning resistance, but the chest piece is a ridiculous plus 87% armor with an already high armor rating of 31. Yes, please. Anyway, back to those snake things that are apparently cave vipers. They're actually way less scary than they look, taking only a couple of hits doing almost nothing in return. Granted, I'm kinda rocking a lot of armor, but hey, probably unrelated. There's also a Slayer, which is just Satan from South Park. They spit fire, but similar to the Vipers, are way scarier to look at than to fight. I did encounter an elite cave viper right after, Fang Spear, but they don't have ranged attacks, so the door saves the day. I'm sure glad every floor has some kind of doorway for me to abuse enemy positioning on. This game would be way harder on a flat plane. The Vipers do seem to have a special attack where they rush forward a couple of tiles to get to the player, but it does nothing, or at least very little, so it's not a threat, but now I do wonder how the other classes play. Specifically the Sorcerer. I mean, the Rogue can just stay away from enemies with a bow, right? And even though the Sorcerer can do the same, everything I run into at this point seems to resist at least one of the magical classes, and with only one spell slot, that seems annoying. I don't think you can hotkey spells to the 8 buttons like a potion. If you could, it probably would be amazing. But I'm not playing as a Sorcerer, so for now it's fine. My sword magic is pretty strong. And so is my using 2 lava pools as a single tile gateway magic. Yes, it's just another door strat. No, I can't imagine how hot it would be standing next to lava in full armor. Ah, finally the level I was waiting on. I now have 80 base strength, which is kinda ridiculous, but I was holding on to a great axe that requires that, as it has a ludicrous 12 base to 30 damage plus 12 points to vitality. My Morningstar has 1 to 8 damage, so this flat out trashes that. The only downside, of course, is being a great axe, I sacrifice my shield protection, but if I can 1 to 2 shot enemies, it's fine. Hey, yep, 2-shotting Slayers, I love to see that. Back in town, I reveal the Ring of Stars, which is plus 9 to all attributes, so I trade that out for my Ring of the Eagle, which is just 22 extra hit points. The plus 9 vitality probably covers that, but even if it didn't, I'll take the other free 27 levels. Fellas, could you, move so I can click on the door, please? This is kinda silly. I actually can't click on the door because the game keeps thinking I was trying to click on the enemies instead. I guess it's because they were the final guardians of floor 11, so it's downward once more. Speaking of guardians of what? Rock? Wait, that's pretty cool actually, but seriously, they are just stronger slayers, still die fast with my big axe, nothing to worry about. Okay, I spoke too soon. Many of them, plus the acid dogs, do not make for a fun time. Actually, it's not even the guardians, it's the stupid lava malls that just coat the area in green death. I'm telling you, anything with range is a major threat, but melee enemies? Nah. Nearby was another book that told me that the 3 prime evils caused chaos across the east, but the Herodrim used soulstones to contain Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, and Baal, the Lord of Destruction. But it seems Diablo, the youngest brother, escaped to the west, but he too could not escape his fate, and the Herodrim caught him, imprisoning him in a stone buried deep beneath an ancient forgotten cathedral. Oh, wait a minute, isn't a cathedral where all this started, and now we're journeying down, oh, I think I know where this is going. At this point, I'm basically swimming in gold like I'm Scrooge McDuck, so I plan on buying a zillion potions every time I return to town. If I can't kill things in a few hits, then plan B is to just outlive it. There was this big open area with a lot of lava moss spitting acid at me. That was a pain, but aside from that, most of this floor was pretty tame. Though I have to admit something, at this point I was feeling a bit fatigued. All I was doing was clearing floor after floor, and I get that that's kind of the point, but I wanted to do some quests? I still had to kill the butcher, and I'm on floor 12 now. It's kind of crazy that they made the first quest go so far down, and it made me worried that there's 100 floors to this game. On the one hand, that amount of content would be awesome, but on the other hand, if it's just the same thing of killing the whole area hoping for a single better drop, I don't know if I can do it. More quests would at least break up the monotony of it. Of course though, I'm not just gonna give up now, so I descended once more. This doesn't look welcoming. A Steel Lord? What, will there also be Lords of Iron and Copper? Oh, these guys are a little rough actually. Okay, a lot rough. What did I say earlier about melee enemies not being a problem? I was wrong. These guys hit hard and fast. I died 4 times to this group alone, and because of that, I decided to forego the all-out offensive of the Great Axe and instead keep the protection of my shield. I had no choice but to bounce back to town and stock up on potions, then it was once more into the twisted hellscape I had found. Oh, remember when I asked if there would be winks later on? Well, now there are many. I'm not completely sure I can show this on YouTube or not, but these are snow witches. They blast me with an electric ball, but I am a stalwart knight, not to be tempted by foul demons. Gameplay-wise, they're just Night Clan enemies. After fighting through many of them, I find another book that says the Armories of Hell are home to the Warlord of Blood. Nearby are some weapon racks and armor stands, and you better believe I want that loot, but they're guarded by about a dozen Steel Lords and the King Steel Lord himself, the, well, Warlord of Blood. I tried basic hit and run tactics where I would disengage, then when one split off from the group, take it down, and that worked pretty well until I accidentally got sandwiched in between them and, died. It took some doing, but thankfully the shortcut back to town is right beside this war camp so I can easily bounce and buy more healing potions. At some point in my Snow Witch slaughter, I picked up a massive sword that has a staggering 100% extra damage, which is absolutely stupid. That literally just doubles the attack stat. I'm sorry, down to hell? I'm in hell? Hold up, something isn't right. There's no way the Butcher is all the way down in the Maw of the Damned, right? I had a feeling for a while that something was off, but now that I think about it, I'm level 21. There is no shot the game expected me to level up this much before finishing the first quest. But I thought I had cleared all the floors out. I mean, that's how I got to this level in the first place. I guess I should go back and check, but before that, my insatiable lust for better gear drove me to attack the Warlord of Blood. He's only an elite Steel Lord, and after like a minute of clicking on him, he explodes, dropping some armor. After looting and identifying everything, I only got one item I actually wanted to keep, the Sword of Giants, which boasts some decent damage but also plus 16 to strength. With that, I went back to where it all began, the first floor, but this time I am become Death Destroyer of the Dungeon. Turns out, I did not full clear this floor, but the enemies probably wish I did because they had no idea what hit them. I also missed a huge chunk of floor 2 and a room that looks like it would have the stupid Butcher in it. Allow me to show you the entire fight. You can tell by me not moving that I was annoyed with myself for missing it, but also the immense amount of satisfaction I felt just atomizing the boss. As fun as it was, I'm actually kinda really annoyed because I think this cleaver would have been absolutely overpowered for a while. It's 4 to 24 damage and plus 10 strength, though I don't know what unusual damage and ultra durability are. At any rate, I have finally completed the first quest, but now I had an issue. See, I had some other quests in my log and it made me worried I missed more stuff while dungeon diving despite thinking I cleared everything out. So I had no choice but to start at the very top and walk myself through every single floor, checking every corner. And the walk part isn't figurative, I move slower than a dead snail, making this very tedious. On floor 4, I ran back into Charbad the Weak, but he told me he's not ready again. As far as I can tell, I can't attack him, so I guess he gets to live. On floor 5, I retouched the Pedestal of Blood, but this time I had my auto map open so I saw a door reveal itself. Inside was a couple of horned demons and another bloodstone. Placing that one on the pedestal opens up the hallway forward to more demons, but also Arcane's armor, which I think is the Valor quest, and when I checked my log, it was gone, so that's another one down. Arcane's Valor is a unique chest piece that gives plus 10 vitality, minus 3 damage from enemies, and fastest hit recovery. I don't know how helpful fastest hit recovery is, and overall I don't know if this armor is better than the one I have on or not. I figured for now I would just keep it in my back pocket because it felt wrong to sell it. Speaking of, while I was here I had a lot of gold to get rid of, so I bought the Lapis Ring of the Tiger, which is 36 lightning resist and plus 49 hit points. It is a slightly lower resistance than my current ring, but the hit points should make up for that. I then went back and talked to Charbad again. I didn't think having Valor would have made a difference in his quest, but honestly it kinda bothered me that it was in my log at all. To my amazement, he actually said something different, that what he made for me was too good for me and that I would need to take it from him. He didn't know I had already fought the Hell Demons. I guess getting Valor did update his quest, or maybe I just had to click on him a lot, I don't know, I have no idea what else it could be. I was still worried I missed something on a previous floor, but I didn't have an active quest and none of the NPCs had anything but gossip, so I decided to trust that I didn't miss anything and continue my Hell dive. Hell is actually a step up in difficulty, as it should be, because there is a distinct lack of doorways or one-tile wide areas. As such, I end up backpedaling away from enemies a lot. I did find out that I could kinda abuse corners to make them come to me, also to take cover from the Snow Witch's Electro Balls. An Elixir of Strength? Oh, that just gives me a permanent strength point? That's cool, we're gonna get more of these. 0 gold? Okay game, thanks for that. I had so much money at this point, I just started buying the elixirs from the healer. Literally the only thing that I need are potions and a new left mouse button. Also, I learned that you can drink a potion at full health. File that under thing I didn't expect to have been a quality of life update, but it was. At this point, I was really comparing the two armor sets I had. I lose a lot of armor class, but I don't know how helpful that is. Like, what is the difference between 50 and 82? If it was a solid minus 32 to damage, then it's absolutely worth it to keep the other one, but I had a feeling that's not how it works. It did feel like I was taking a little more damage, but not enough to really make me think I needed the higher armor class. I just want to show you all something. Look at this. Look how far I had to chase this elite snow witch. As far as I can tell, they just run in the opposite direction from where I am, meaning had I not cleared out the rest of this level, I would have run the risk of pulling way more than I could handle. Thankfully, she was literally the last enemy, so with her death, I descend to level 14. Oh, they are just straight up called succubuses now. Well, it's accurate. They suck. To fight. Steel Lords have become Doom Guards, but regardless, the strategy is the same. Friendship with doorways ended, corners are my new main man. Also, something started happening here. It doesn't show up in the recording, which is good, but my screen started flickering like it was doing an impersonation of a CRT monitor. I guess for that extra crispy 1996 vibe. Wait, I have another spell? When did that happen? Oh, it's the Hydra. Never mind, I can probably guess exactly when I got that one. He eats up my whole mana bar, and I'm assuming he either bites or casts fireballs because he looks like a dragon, but the former will probably deal little damage and the latter no damage because I bet everything in hell resists or is immune to fire. After chasing many a succubi, I can finally push down to the 15th floor. I wonder if my journey is almost at an end or if there's a lot more. Azure Drakes, so just stronger cave vipers, and a Balrog? Yo, am I about to become a white wizard? I have no memory of this place. A fool of a took. Okay, I'll stop. Nearby is another altar called a Vile Stand, and you can tell it's important on account of the dead bodies. The Staff of Lazarus? Well, it's not an equipable item, but it's probably important. Wasn't Lazarus the name of the Archbishop? Maybe Cain would know. So I return to him, and yeah, he just immediately launches into a dialogue saying first that his true name is Deckard Cain the Elder, and that he is the last of an ancient brotherhood that was dedicated to safeguarding the secrets of a timeless evil. Except, as you can tell by literally hell being below us, that evil is now released. Apparently, Archbishop Lazarus was once the king's most trusted advisor and was somehow tainted by the darkness. He led a few townsfolk into the dungeon, but it was a trap, which that dead guy at the beginning of the game said, so that's not new. However, it turns out Lazarus is the one that kidnapped the king's son, and Cain suspects that he will sacrifice him to the Dark Masters. Cain then begs me to save the boy before it's too late. Okay, let's go rescue a prince. Wait, what did I just... Oh no. Y'all remember how I said the escape key doesn't close the menu? I kinda just muscle memory hit it to close my inventory, then clicked where I wanted the character to move, but that happened to be right over the load game button. It didn't even register to me until now that there's no confirm prompt on saving and loading. It's fine, it was only about 15 minutes of time loss just before I got the staff. I started trying to use my shock spell more, but I'm positive it does next to no damage, both because I have like 12 magic, but also I wouldn't be surprised if these Azure Drakes resisted or were immune to it. Still, it's pretty fun to fire off rapidly. Oh, that looks important. Alright, let's clear out the rest of this floor, then come back here. You know, I don't know if this is possible, but if something is immune to fire, magic, and lightning, what does a sorcerer do? Do they have some kind of fourth spell type, like dagger, or are they just screwed? That's a lot of enemies. Surely my electrical attack that probably does as much damage as static electricity will save me. Why are these guys suddenly draining my mana? I mean, it's fine, I guess. I don't really have a use for it, but why is it happening? I'm also not getting hurt, so maybe it's a mana shield? Cool, after 6 hours of playing, I have figured out what one shrine does. Wait a minute, when did I get a mana shield spell? Why does this game keep giving me things and not telling me about it? Back in town, I'm preparing for my next dungeon crawl, and I buy a Vicious Sword of the Giants. It's slightly better than my current weapon. I also bought plenty of health potions, but knowing this game, that's like 2 groups of enemies. Oh, there's a portal there now. Okay, hold on, I'll check that out after I make sure everything else is dead. I'm glad I did too, because one of them dropped a new sword. A sword that has plus 28% hit chance and plus 91% damage. This gives me a hit chance of 107%, so my swings should always land, right? Nah, I'm not so naive to think that. I'm sure the enemies have a hidden dodge chance to negate all damage as well. Still, it felt good to get the number over 100. I'm pretty sure it's a one-handed sword, but the blacksmith doesn't sell any shields right now, so I'll just have to make do without it. With that, it's time to step into the portal to the Unholy Lair. The automap reveals this floor's name is the Archbishop Lazarus Lair, so I assume he is close. Hell spawns, bigger, badder succubi. Listen, I'm not saying turning evil and kidnapping the king's son to sacrifice him to the devil is right, but I get it. Oh cool, teleporting fireball flinging mages, I bet those won't be annoying at all. If I stand on the runes and read the Book of Vileness, I get teleported a short distance to a previously inaccessible room where I have to fight a bunch of hell spawns. This setup is mirrored on the other side, but once all of them are gone, what do? I basically did 3 laps around this place until I gave up and stepped on the entrance portal. That could have been telegraphed better. Anyway, now I am treated to another cutscene showing that the Archbishop has glowing red eyes. If he always had those, the townspeople really should have known. Yeah, it might have been too late to save the boy. 2 elite hellspawns and Lazarus. That's probably not going to be too hard. Oh, okay, run away! Once the ads are all cleared out, Lazarus is pretty easy. He's just an advocate really. Sure, it's annoying to chase him down, but what am I gonna do, teleport? That's not allowed. I ended up getting him stuck in a corner and just kept hitting him. He tried to run away, but his programming and or pathing wouldn't let him leave, so easy. And he dropped a new tower shield. That's cool. Oh, you can equip things without identifying them? Would that be helpful? I guess in the niche scenario like now where I just flat out didn't have a shield, then it would be. At any rate, I take the portal out, and now the pentagram on the ground is open up. Down to Diablo it says, yeah, not today, Satan. Cain tells me that the boy I found sacrificed is not the prince, which is good. I mean, not for the kid on the altar, but it is for the prince. He also tells me I must descend into the deepest reaches of hell and challenge the Lord of Terror, Diablo himself. Before I leave, I identify my spoils, and that shield seems pretty good, plus 10 strength, indestructible, and fast block. It also has plus 4 damage from enemies, which I initially misread as 2 enemies, so I guess negative effects are a thing. I also got a King's Mace, which gives an absurd hit chance modifier, bringing my chance to hit to 163%, but I opted not to use that because I would lose a little damage. At any rate, with an inventory full of potions, it was time to face the darkest corners of the damned. I steeled my sword and resolve and enter the realm of Diablo. Ah yes, Diablo, the 1996 classic bullet hell game. Down here are a bunch of advocates and blood knights. The level is just one big room and you start in the center, which is awful because if you go too far in one direction, you'll end up running into another set of enemies, so it's very difficult to maneuver in a way that doesn't pull the whole area. But even if you are careful, you can still get melted here. Watch how fast my health dropped. I didn't even know I was about to die until it was too late. Once you've cleared out enough enemies, you can throw some levers around the room. Well, technically you don't have to clear out the enemies, but I highly recommend it. Once all 4 mechanisms have been activated, the final chamber is open and inside is none other than the prime evil himself, Diablo. And like 30 of his friends, because that's the only way this game can maintain difficulty. My original plan was to clear out all the enemies then fight the big bad because, I don't know, cinema, but Diablo is actually really fast, so he would constantly be the leader of the pack when I attempted my corner strats. So eventually I gave up trying to run away and just duked it out. In melee range, Diablo isn't really a threat. He has a fast claw swipe, but it doesn't really do anything. However, when you're far away from him, he will cause fire explosions under your feet that I don't think can be dodged sans your character landing a successful dodge roll. The worst part is that they are high damaging, and I think he can cast them as long as he has line of sight on you. Meaning, even if you're 50 meters away from him and off screen, he can still see you and cast it, which I guess is just another point for wall strats. His melee attack can knock you back, but if it's a one-on-one, that really isn't an issue, and before long, the Dark Lord has fallen by my blade. The world is saved. The final cutscene shows us cutting the soul gem out of Diablo's head, causing his body to wither and die, and it was a person? Then we shove the soul stone into our own forehead because reasons? I don't really get this decision. I mean, it sounds like we're just making it easier for his essence to corrupt us, but I have no idea. And that was Diablo. But wait, I hear you screech. What about the expansion, Hellfire? Yeah, about that. I did a dumb. This is the graphic for the launcher when you play Diablo from Good Old Games' launcher. I'm assuming Diablo Classic is the original 1996 version of the game, which would likely not be compatible with modern hardware. What I played was the one just titled Diablo because having Hellfire there made me think it was a standalone expansion. It is not. So what this should say is actually Diablo, Diablo Classic, and Diablo plus Hellfire. It was a mistake on my part, and I have a wild guess at its post-game content, meaning I would need to go through the whole base game again just to see it, and to be honest, I wasn't really feeling that at the time. So I'll tell you what, my friends, if this video gets 1,000 likes, then I'll make a separate standalone video to cover Hellfire. But anyway, what is my verdict on Diablo? Is it good or just nostalgia? Honestly, that's a bit harder to answer than I thought it would be. The game is fun, but it's also quite dated at this point. The lack of features that many of us take for granted really pulls down my ability to just recommend it. To be fair, I get the feeling that this game was touted as like a multiplayer experience, so had I played with other people, my position might change a little bit, but I didn't. So instead, I'll say this. If you have ever been curious about it and after watching this video you're still curious, I would wager that you would like it and should check it out. But if you watch this video thinking it's not for you, it probably isn't, and there's no shame in that. We all have different likes and dislikes. But that has been Diablo. I enjoyed my time saving Tristram, and I hope you enjoyed your time watching this video. Until next time, my friends.